Greeting, folks. I believe we all have been at that point where you have someone you know that is so addicted to RuneScape that it threatens you to mail you the head of a dead horse if you dare to refuse to play this new game with him. And that the developer at Jagax were like, yeah, let's release this now. And nobody was mentally prepared for this, but here we go. First of all, RuneScape Dragonwilds is a survival game developed by Jagax, the makers of RuneScape. And well, think of it as Valheim and RuneScape had a baby, however, not as hardcore in either direction. You can expect the usual staples of survival games: gathering, building, thirst and hunger meter, as well as energy that you need to recover by going to sleep. Mixed with a skill-based experience where every aspect of the survival has the twist of having to be grinded to increase your levels. However, this is not as brutal as RuneScape, and you can easily get halfway through some of the level caps of the skills in a couple of hours of play, depending on which direction you focus. There are a lot of them. You have mining, you have rune making, you have building, you have cooking, and so on. Furthermore, one additional unique element present in RuneScape Dragonwilds is how magic plays out. By leveling your skills, you can unlock spells that can be activated by consuming runes, one of the gathering materials, which all comes with different effects and require a different level of mastery of the separate skills. Those can be used to gather, instantly cut down trees, make rocks explode, or even buff your resistances or your damage. Some of the most interesting spells will allow you to even convert materials like tree into bones or even bones into pitches, the last one for cooking. This is a key element in team play because different players in a group, at this moment you can only play with up to 4 people per server, sadly, which is a bit disappointing, can focus on different skill lines, so to offer your team all the effects that you need to progress. Bones are kinda important early on, and luckily one of the spells that you get from crafting just does this. I also need to add that this game is more similar to Enshrouded than Valheim, because it's more quest oriented and doesn't have a procedurally generated map. Instead, it takes place in the land of Ashenfall. I am not particularly versed in the lore and story of RuneScape, but I have been told by my friend that just like the base game, the story starts with us going after a dragon and us being the dragon slayer in the story. So how does the combat measures up? At this moment, only the fighting skill experience system formally is present. You can use spells and archery that are in the game, and both felt powerful, especially for hunting deers you really want a bow. But since you don't get XP, we mostly decided to stick with melee. The combat at the start is not horribly difficult or brutal, and even the survival aspect, at least in the starting area, will be very welcoming to new players. However, if you're looking for a Valheim experience, this game is not. Another factor to mention is the presence of health regeneration, which is quite generous. The downside is that you need to keep yourself fed all the time, or you risk dying. There is also durability system, and tools, armors and weapons can break, but can also be easily repaired if you have the materials. The building is pretty standard. At some point I figured out that you can plant random poles around to get experience for building, which is quite important because when it's high level, it will let you access the chest in your base while away from base. Your inventory is not terribly large, but you can have large stacks of items. There is also a weight system, so if you are overcumbered, you cannot run anymore. I didn't see much verticality in the game, like climbing or anything weird like finding secret places for now. You can wander around fighting goblins and killing rats, while a dragon keeps flying around in the background and might even decide to try to kill you. On that, all items are dropped on the ground, leading to mandatory corpse runs. Also, your friend can steal your gear, so be warned that you can get trolled pretty hard. Plans to learn additional decorations and base items can be dropped around the world, usually in chests, and learned. You can also find books of lores, which have tidbits of information. Doing so is not shared among players. Same for quests. I wish they were more shared, but some interaction in the quest didn't count for some of our members. I am not sure if this was a bug or not, to be honest. Overall, some systems are very interesting. Combat, however, felt a bit too easy. Even level 2 mobs weren't as much of a threat, unless in larger groups, as goblin archers can still stagger you. And if you go unprepared in a goblin village, they will probably kill you. The game is quite polished for an early access title, and since it comes from an experienced publisher, I look forward on how things will evolve as I continue to play the game until I have a full picture for a more complete review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. There were not a lot of memes in this content because, well, I don't want to bully my autistic friend too hard. See you!